Okay, so it is Wednesday the 31st of March and it's 10:56. I'm here with Matthew Ward and we're talking through his blog for Final Major Project. Some things I've noticed is I think it's a little bit too linear in as much as there needs to be expansion on some of the research. So there's evidence that you understand the research, but I'd like you to show me that. So you've kind of told me, but I need you to show me, as discussed. So, for example, like Young and Rubicon, for example, some of the analysis you've done. It'd be great if you got some thumbnails in there as you're discussing specific points of the text. And so I think, in your early stages, that's really important. Is that we kind of just expanding a little bit, whereas maybe you're just kind of showing, but you're not telling me. Really, does that make sense? Yeah. And I think if you can expand that, that's going to hopefully elevate the potential grade area there. I think, and that's kind of through sort of all of the early stages of the FMP. Now then, as we get through to sort of the end of the analysis, and I also could do some ideas blasts and go into Lucid Chart and just kind of show kind of wider thinking and thought processes that'd be really beneficial. And then I think once all that's ended, suddenly we're into your idea, and I think there needs to be some kind of bookend to all of your research and conclusions and a sort of analysis of that really. And then we're into your magazine idea. Now, what I've noticed, and I think we've discussed, is that basically you've pretty much launched into your idea here. But what I don't see any contextualization. So what we need to look at is your wider understanding of the gaming industry. Now, obviously, the gaming industry kind of started, I suppose, back in with the ZX81 back in 1981. And you could even go with some sort of early handheld games before that, even like Astro Wars, for example, which was like a little kind of was it before 1981? Yeah, I'm fairly certain it was. It was like a little. Do you know what Astro Wars is? It's like a little console, and you had like a little space invaders, basically. You know. So, where do you go? It's a difficult one, isn't it? You could say I could be here for the next 6 months researching into the gaming industry, but I certainly think you need to have a wider contextualization of the industry you're about to produce a media text for. I think that's really important. Also, I'd like to see some primary research in there, and we've got a games department with Kate and Tracy, who you could set up a Teams meeting, an interview, and I'm sure she'll be happy to do that with you and record that, and that'd be excellent. I think that'd be really beneficial as well. So, you need that, because it's like that umbrella we talked about. You need that umbrella, don't you? Of kind of research. So you've done it once, and you need to do it again for your own idea. Now you've launched into you've actually pretty much kind of created your pieces, and I think you're like majorly premature because we've got like weeks to go, and it's great, and I think you're there because you haven't done that contextualization and you haven't done that primary research, and I think that all of that needs to clearly inform, and you need to show how that's informed your ideas. I also think that your ideas, including your contents page, your double page spread, for example, are works in process. And I think the layout, and I think just needs looking at, and I think we need to reflect on that. So I think really, what have you done? You've done some really early mock-ups, and I think that's how you should view those. And I think we can come back to them, and then we can use them as kind of a springboard into doing additional drafts until we get to your final draft. So, well done for getting there, but I just think you're a little bit too premature. We just need to pull you back a little bit. Does that make sense? Otherwise, it's looking really, really thorough. It's looking at a solid a solid piece of work, and I really get what you're doing. You've just gone a bit too advanced, really. I think you know your front cover as well just probably needs a little bit more work to it. But it's nice that you've shown progress and you've been showing stuff on Photoshop, and I like all that. That's really good. That's really good evidence. Okay, is that all right? That makes sense. Good. So good stuff so far. Working to a really solid level, I would say. You know, meritable. But I think with those things, you're not far off. You know, we need to be aiming for distinction. So we just need to slow down, contextualise, and kind of show as well as tell in terms of the early research. Okay, excellent. Okay.